The rain hammered against the window of the coffee shop like 1,000 desperate fingers, each drop carrying the weight of Marcus Thompson's exhaustion. He sat hunched over his laptop, his calloused hands trembling slightly as he typed another job application, his 43rd this month. The custody papers lay crumpled beside his cold coffee, a stark reminder that in 18 hours, he might lose the only thing that mattered, his 8-year-old daughter, Emma. The court had been clear, no stable income, no custody. Time was running out, and Marcus felt like he was drowning in his own life. Across the room, Victoria Chen sat rigid in her corner booth, her designer suit wrinkled from 3 sleepless nights. Her phone buzzed incessantly with calls from board members, investors, and reporters, all demanding answers she didn't have. As CEO of Chen Industries, she commanded rooms full of executives and made decisions worth millions, but she was powerless against the one crisis that truly mattered. Her 5-year-old daughter, Lily, had been missing for 72 hours, and despite the army of private investigators and police officers working the case, they had no leads. The ransom note had been cleared $10 million or they'd never see Lily again. What terrified Victoria most wasn't the money, but the silence that had followed. Marcus noticed the woman in the corner first because she was crying. In his experience, people who wore suits that expensive didn't usually break down in public coffee shops. Something about her posture, the way she clutched her phone like a lifeline, reminded him of himself during Emma's worst asthma attacks. Before he could stop himself, he was walking over. "I'm sorry to bother you," Marcus said softly, pulling out a chair. "I know this might sound weird, but you look like you could use someone to talk to." Victoria looked up, her eyes red-rimmed and suspicious. "Do I know you?" "No, ma'am. I'm Marcus Thompson. I drive for Uber Eats, do some handyman work. I'm nobody special." He sat down slowly, his voice gentle. "But I'm also a dad, and I recognize that look, the kind that says you'd give anything to protect your kid." Something in his tone broke through Victoria's defenses. Maybe it was the genuine concern in his eyes, or the fact that he'd introduced himself as a dad first, not by his job title. "My daughter," she whispered, "she's been taken." Marcus felt his blood run cold. "How long?" 3 days. "The FBI says not to talk to anyone, but I feel like I'm losing my mind sitting here doing nothing." Victoria's hands shook as she showed him Lily's photo, a beautiful little girl with pigtails and a gap-toothed smile. "They want $10 million, but it's not about the money. They haven't contacted us since the initial demand." "What if?" "Don't go there," Marcus interrupted firmly. "Kids are resilient. They're fighters. My Emma's been through hell with her asthma, and she always bounces back stronger." He studied the photo. "Your daughter has your eyes. That's a fighter's look right there." Victoria stared at this stranger who'd appeared out of nowhere, offering comfort when the world felt like it was ending. "Why are you helping me? You don't even know me." Marcus was quiet for a moment, his fingers tracing the rim of his coffee cup. "Because 3 years ago, when Emma was diagnosed with asthma, I was a mess, sitting in a hospital waiting room, convinced I was going to lose her. A janitor named Henry sat with me for 6 hours, didn't say much, just stayed. Sometimes, that's all someone needs to know they're not alone." "I should call my security team," Victoria said, but made no move to reach for her phone. "Probably. But first, tell me about the last time you saw her." Victoria found herself really talking for the first time in days. She described Lily's love of dinosaurs, her habit of wearing mismatched socks, her laugh that could fill a room. As she spoke, Marcus listened with the kind of attention she rarely received, even in boardrooms full of people paid to hang on her every word. "She was with my mother at the park," Victoria continued. "Mom turned around for 2 seconds to throw away Lily's juice box, and she was gone. The security footage shows a woman approaching her, but the cameras didn't catch the license plate. Clearly," Marcus frowned. "A woman? The ransom note didn't mention that." "No, it didn't. The FBI thinks it might be a trafficking ring, but something feels off about the whole thing." Victoria pulled out her phone, showing him the ransom note. "Look at the handwriting. It's too neat, too careful. And the amount, $10 million, is significant to me, but it's not an amount that would make sense for professional kidnappers." Marcus studied the note, his brow furrowed. "You're right. Professional kidnappers would ask for more, or less. $10 million is personal." He looked up at her. "Who knows that exact amount matters to you?" Victoria's face went pale. It's the amount of my daughter's trust fund. The one my ex-husband fought me over in court." "Your ex-husband, David? We've been divorced for 2 years. He's been struggling financially, and he's been pushing for shared custody." claiming I work too much to be a good mother. Victoria's voice cracked. What if this isn't about money at all? What if it's about proving I'm an unfit mother? Marcus reached across the table and squeezed her hand. We need to find her, not the FBI, not your security team. We need to think like parents, not like investigators. I'm not leaving you to go through this alone. Besides, Marcus smiled sadly, I've got some time before my own custody hearing. Tomorrow, maybe helping you save your daughter will remind me how to save mine. Victoria stared at him, the stranger who'd walked into her nightmare and refused to leave. You don't understand. I'm Victoria Chen. I run a multi-billion-dollar company. I have resources, connections, power. Why would you? Because none of that matters when your kid is missing, Marcus said simply. Rich or poor, CEO or driver, we're just parents who love our kids. And sometimes the best way to find something is to stop looking with your head and start looking with your heart. They left the coffee shop together, an unlikely pair united by desperation and hope. Marcus drove Victoria in his beat-up Honda while she made calls, using her resources to track down David's recent activities. What they discovered chilled them both. David had been asking questions about Lily's schedule, her favorite places, her relationship with her grandmother. There, Victoria pointed to a warehouse on the outskirts of town. David's been renting storage space there for the past month. He told me it was for his business, but his business failed 6 months ago. Marcus parked a block away. We should call the police. No, if David's desperate enough to take her, he might run the moment he sees official cars. Let's scout it first. They approached the warehouse carefully. Through a grimy window, they could see David pacing back and forth, talking on his phone. But there was no sign of Lily. She's not here, Victoria whispered, her heart sinking. Wait, Marcus pointed to a smaller building behind the warehouse. There's a light on in there. They crept closer, and Victoria's breath caught. Through the window, they could see Lily sitting at a small table, coloring peacefully. She looked unharmed, almost content. An older woman sat beside her. David's mother, Margaret. Oh my God. Victoria breathed. She's safe. She's actually safe. Marcus watched the scene inside, his mind racing. This isn't a kidnapping. Look at her. She's comfortable, happy even. She knows these people. But the ransom note was David's desperate attempt to get money and make you look like a bad mother at the same time. But I don't think Margaret knows about the ransom. Look at how she's caring for Lily. She genuinely loves her. Victoria's phone rang. David's name appeared on the screen. Answer it, Marcus urged, but put it on speaker. Victoria. David's voice was strained. I know you're worried about Lily, but she's safe. She's with my mother. David, what have you done? I didn't mean for it to go this far. I just wanted to prove that you can't always be there for her, that she needs stability, needs family around. But then I needed the money, and I thought you'd terrorize me for 3 days. Victoria's voice was steel. You let me think my daughter was in danger. She was never in danger. She thinks she's having a sleepover with Grandma Margaret. She's been asking about dinosaurs and drawing pictures. She's happy. Victoria, when's the last time you saw her this relaxed? Marcus watched Victoria's face crumple. The words hit there, Mark, because they carried a grain of truth. Victoria worked 16-hour days, traveled constantly, and relied on nannies and boarding schools. That doesn't give you the right to take her, Victoria said, tears streaming down her face. I know I messed up. But Victoria, we need to talk about custody arrangements. Really talk, not through lawyers, not in court, as parents. Marcus stepped closer to the phone. David, this is Marcus Thompson. I'm here with Victoria. Who the hell are you? I'm a friend, and I'm a single dad fighting for custody of my daughter. So I understand what you're going through. But this isn't the way. You don't understand. Victoria has everything: money, lawyers, influence. I'm just trying to be a father to my daughter. By traumatizing her mother? By making your daughter an accessory to a felony? Marcus's voice was firm, but not unkind. Man, I get it. I've been there. I've felt powerless, like the system was rigged against me. But this isn't about winning or losing. It's about what's best for Lily. There was silence on the other end. David, Victoria said softly, I'm coming to get Lily now. No police, no lawyers, just me. We can figure this out together.